Every Friday evening at 6 p.m., a specific kind of magic trick happens all over the world. Millions of people look at their phones, see a notification from their banking app, and for a brief, beautiful window of about 4 hours, they feel completely safe. The direct deposit has landed. The numbers are green. The struggle of the last 30 days feels justified. But by Monday morning, the illusion begins to fracture. And by the 25th of the month, the magic trick reverses itself. You are standing in line at a grocery store. You have a basket with basic essentials, some milk, eggs, bread, a couple of frozen meals. The total on the register comes out to $43.50. You swipe your debit card, and for a split second, your chest tightens. Your breath catches in your throat. You are waiting for the machine to authorize the transaction, not because you don't have the money, but because you don't know exactly how much is left. You are playing a dangerous game of mental math, hoping the hidden buffer in your checking account can absorb a $40 blow. The card clears. You carry the bags to your car, sit in the driver's seat, and you finally force yourself to open the app. Your savings balance reads $0. Not because you lost it in a bad investment, not because you had a massive medical emergency, but because it simply never existed. You earn a decent living. You work 40, 50 hours a week. You are exhausted by Friday. Yet, after 5, 10, maybe 15 years of active participation in the modern workforce, your net worth is a flat line. You are trapped in the full circle, a cycle where your income flows in, distributes itself entirely to landlords, utility corporations, and credit card companies, and leaves you exactly where you started 30 days ago. Zero. When you have zero savings, the world looks entirely different. Your relationship with reality changes. You don't view your job as a career or a vehicle for growth. You view it as a life support machine. If your manager looks at you wrong on a Thursday morning, your entire weekend is ruined because a single bad conversation could mean structural collapse. The internet tells you to start investing. Financial gurus on social media scream about buying real estate, maximizing a Roth IRA, and trading options. They show you charts of compounding returns over 30 years. But that advice feels completely useless when you are trying to figure out how to pay for a dental cleaning next Tuesday. Before you can build wealth, you have to execute what we call the step-by-step reset. And step 1 has absolutely nothing to do with investments. It is about establishing a psychological floor. A psychological floor is the exact dollar amount required to stop the survival panic in your brain. For most adults, that number is $500. Not $10,000, not a 6-month emergency fund. Just $500 of absolute, untouchable liquidity. To build this floor from zero, you cannot rely on enthusiasm. You have to treat it like a clinical operation. You look at your bank statement from the last 90 days and find the leaks. You don't just cancel a streaming service. You delete the food delivery apps from your phone entirely. The apps that make it too easy to spend $35 on a cold dinner because you were too tired to cook. You spend the next 3 weeks operating in an artificial state of scarcity. You eat what is in the pantry. You reject 2 social outings. You sell the old electronics sitting in your closet that you haven't touched since 2024. And then it happens. You open the account, and there is a clean, stable $500 sitting there. For the first time in years, your balance isn't a countdown timer to failure. It is a shield. Once the floor is poured, you face step 2, the deficit audit. Most people with zero savings assume they have an income problem. They believe that if they just made $10,000 more a year, their savings would automatically grow. But the data shows something completely different. Lifestyle creep is a law of human psychology. If your internal financial system is broken at $50,000, it will be broken at $100,000. The numbers will just have more zeros behind them. You open a blank document. On the left side, you write down your exact guaranteed take-home pay. On the right side, you list your fixed, unnegotiable survival costs, shelter, basic utilities, minimum loan payments, and baseline food. The space between those 2 columns is your margin. If your margin is less than 10% of your income, you are living on an economic fault line. Let's look at the unsexy math. If you take home $3,500 a month and your fixed costs are $3,200, your real margin is only $300. One minor mechanical error on your vehicle wipes out your entire margin for the next 2 months. Fixing this requires a permanent shift in how you prioritize your existence. You have to stop paying everyone else first. When your paycheck lands, the very first transfer must be to your savings account, even if it is only $50. You treat that $50 like a bill collected by a dangerous creditor. You pay it immediately, and you force your lifestyle to constrict around whatever is left over. You learn to live at a deficit of comfort so that you can stop living at a deficit of security. Step 3 of the reset is where the momentum shifts from defensive to offensive. You have your floor of $500, and you have carved out a small monthly margin by paying yourself first. Now, you build the first milestone, the real $2,000 fund. This phase feels incredibly slow. It feels like trying to move a boulder by pushing it with your bare hands. You look at your account week after week, watching it crawl from $500 to $650 to $800. The internet tells you that inflation is eating your cash, that you are losing money by letting it sit in a bank. Ignore them. When you are resetting from zero, the psychological stability of cash is worth infinitely more than a 7% market return. While you are building this $2,000, something invisible happens to your behavior. You are walking through a grocery store on a random Tuesday, and you see an item you want but don't need, perhaps a premium bottle of wine or a new kitchen gadget. In the past, your brain would have thought, well, my account is low anyway, so what's another $40? That is the despair mechanism of a zero savings account. When you feel like you can't win, you stop trying to play the game correctly. But now, because you have $1,200 in the bank, your brain switches to a protective state. You think, if I spend this $40, my balance drops below $1,200. It took me 3 weeks of discipline to get that number there. This item isn't worth losing my progress. This is the invisible velocity of savings. Wealth building doesn't start when you buy your first stock. It starts when the pain of losing your saved progress becomes greater than the temporary pleasure of a useless purchase. Step 4. Expanding the timeline. Once your savings account hits $2,000, the survival panic is officially dead. You can survive a flat tire, a broken appliance, or a minor medical issue without asking for permission, without swiping a credit card, and without sliding backward. You have bought yourself breathing room. Now, and only now, do you look at the investment market. But you don't chase trends. You don't look for the next volatile stock or the latest internet hype. You choose the most unexciting, reliable machine ever created by modern capitalism, a low-cost index fund that tracks the top 500 companies in the global economy. You start small. You set up an automated transfer of just $150 a month. On the first day of every month, that money leaves your sphere of existence and goes to work. Let's map out the absolute reality of this transition. If you keep adding that $150 a month into a fund compounding at a historical average of 9% annually, in 10 years, that small, automated choice turns into nearly $30,000. In 20 years, it becomes $100,000. But the real magic isn't the final number. The magic is that you have broken the full circle. Your money is no longer just flowing out to enrich landlords and tech companies. A portion of your labor is permanently frozen, working for you in the background while you sleep, while you take weekends off, and while you live your life. You have transitioned from a pure consumer to a fractional owner of the global economy. 4 years pass from the night you decided to hit the reset button. You are sitting at the exact same kitchen table. The countertops are still there. The window still rattles when the wind blows. But everything else has changed. Your savings account holds a stable emergency cushion. Your investment portfolio is steadily compounding. You have zero high-interest debt. Your phone rings on a Thursday afternoon. It's your sister. She sounds incredibly stressed. Her child needs a specific medical assessment that isn't covered by their baseline insurance, and it costs $800. She doesn't know what to do, and she is crying as she explains the situation. You don't pause. You don't open your laptop to see if you can afford it. You don't calculate which bill you'll have to delay this month. You simply say, "Send me your account details. I'll take care of it right now." You hang up the phone, open your app, and transfer the money. And as you sit there in the quiet room, you finally realize what this entire journey was actually for. When you started at zero, you thought wealth meant driving a luxury vehicle, living in a modern house, and never looking at the price tag on a menu. But standing on the other side of the reset, you know the truth. True wealth is the absolute elimination of financial fear. It is the ability to look at an unexpected crisis and treat it as a minor inconvenience instead of a life-altering tragedy. It is the capacity to show up for the people you love with real, tangible support without compromising your own survival. The numbers on the screen don't care that you spent years at zero. They don't care about the mistakes you made in your 20s. They only care that one night, sitting in the dark, you finally refused to look away, took control, and decided to start.